Hello everyone, and thank you for your interest in our presentation. My name is Andrea Bönsch, and I will present this work on behalf of my three co-authors David, Jonathan and Thorsten. In the next few minutes, I will discuss whether users who visit an immersive virtual scene for the very first time prefer being guided, or whether they prefer a free exploration with a knowledgeable companion. When entering an unknown virtual environment, acquiring scene knowledge is a crucial first task, defined as scene exploration. As efficient scene exploration is non-trivial, especially in larger environments, users should be supported in this endeavor. One common technique is integrating an embodied conversational agent into the scene, a so-called ICA, who assists the user. In our example here, the scene is a virtual museum on internet memes, shown on the left, and our ICA represents the museum's curator Kate. From here, we differentiate between two conditions of assistance. The first one is a classical guided tour.
Hello and welcome to our virtual museum. My name is Kate. I am the curator and will be your tour guide today. Please follow me as we visit some examples from the archives.
In this condition, Kate guides the user through the museum, allowing a structured experience, while avoiding that the user gets lost or misses critical information. However, this reduces the user to a passive receiver, which is a questionable design choice for any interactive medium. Thus, we present a second condition.
Hello and welcome to our virtual museum. My name is Kate. I am the curator and will accompany you as you explore our exhibition. Feel free to look around, and I will provide information wherever I can.
Here, the user takes care of the wayfinding and is accompanied by Kate. If the user shows interest in a certain exhibit, Kate presents the same narratives as during the guided tour. This way, users can customize the experience to their individual needs and interests. I will first give an overview of Kate's implementation as a virtual guide. Thereby, I will omit implementation details such as concrete interpersonal distances or walking speeds. If you're interested in those details, please have a look at our paper. After Kate introduced herself and the scene, as you saw and heard on the last slide, the virtual tour starts and Kate guides the user on a predefined path through the museum. To this end, she walks in front of the user and takes over the global wayfinding decisions. She is thereby able to react to different user behaviors, as schematically shown on the right. The black keynotes refer to Kate, the blue ones to our user, here represented by the well-known Unreal mannequin. As long as the user follows, Kate goes on towards her next goal. As soon as the user is lagging behind, she stops and tries to re-engage the user, for example by a phrase such as,
"Are you coming?"
If the user returns to her, the tour goes on. Else, she follows the user, tries to catch up when the user departs further, and addresses the user more firmly by a statement such as,
"I have to ask you to follow me through this museum. Science depends on it."
On reaching an exhibit, Kate positions herself on one of the several predefined spots in its vicinity, allowing her to share her attention between the user and the exhibit. Then she starts a respective explanatory utterance, alternating her gaze between the user and the exhibit. In case the user approaches her too closely, Kate walks towards another predefined location to maintain a reasonable interpersonal distance. Thereby, she shortly pauses her explanation, as you can see in the following clip.
Sad Keanu dates back to May of 2010, when a paparazzo photograph of Keanu Reeves sitting on a park bench in New York was taken while he was eating a sandwich. People noticed how he looked quite sad, sitting there all by himself. A few days later the image was used in a viral Reddit post where the image was captioned with the words, "I really enjoy acting, because when I act, I am no longer me."
If the user does not only reposition him or herself as demonstrated here, but looks away, showing disinterest, Kate tries to re-engage the user with an utterance such as,
Excuse me, am I boring you?
if the user even walks away during Kate's explanation, she follows, catches up, and asks the user to follow her again to the exhibit before resuming her explanation. Finishing the guided tour, Kate triggers the goodbye.
This concludes our tour. I hope you enjoyed our exhibition and maybe even found an interesting piece of knowledge to take home. Goodbye and stay safe.
General behavior distinction between welcoming the user, traversing the scene, explaining exhibits, and finally saying goodbye, of course also applies for Kate when she accompanies the user on his or her free exploration. While some bits are pretty equal and will thus be shown in gray on the slides for sake of completeness, I will focus on the differences between both conditions, starting with the joint locomotion while traversing the scene. In the companion mode, Kate accompanies the user, who is solely responsible for the global wayfinding decisions. We chose a shoulder-by-shoulder formation for both interactants, emphasizing this companionship. As our application is primarily focusing on head-mounted displays, the user's reduced field of view forced us to apply some adaptations to the abreast formation as shown in the schematics. The resulting joint locomotion is demonstrated in this clip. As you can see, Kate walks with the user as long as she is not able to detect interest in a certain exhibit. As soon as she detects that the user is attracted by an exhibit, by analyzing the user's distance to the exhibit as well as the user's field of view, schematically shown here, she positions herself and starts with the explanations.
What we call the popular period is the era from 2012 till 2015.
If the user shows disinterest by looking around, she tries to re-engage him or her by utterances like,
Actually, I wasn't quite finished.
if the user walks on, Kate cancels her explanation with a respective statement, for example,
Okay, let us look at something else then.
during the free exploration, users should have the chance to end the scene exploration when they feel confident that they visited all important places. Thus, the user can trigger their farewell at any time, as explained by Kate in her introduction during the welcome.
If you want to end the session, just focus on me and pull the trigger. That sounded a bit darker than I thought it would.
The objective of our work is to investigate whether a classical guided tour, so condition 1, or a free, however accompanied exploration, condition 2, is preferred in a museum. We expected the following hypothesis to be confirmed. The accompanied exploration of a virtual museum is superior to a classical guided tour in terms of enjoyment and comfort in an educational context. Due to the COVID-19 health and safety restrictions applying at those times, we were only able to do a small pre-evaluation with 7 males and 1 female, all recruited via a university mailing list. All 8 subjects experienced both conditions in a randomized and counterbalanced fashion using an HTC Vive. 1 Vive controller was used for navigation as well as triggering the farewell in the companion condition. Per condition, Kate introduced herself and the museum briefly, followed by the respective exploration of the museum. After each condition, participants were asked several condition-specific questions, and after experiencing both conditions, they filled out a post-study questionnaire with additional free text fields focusing explicitly on comparing both conditions. Looking at the results of the guide indicates that this condition was rated overall positively. Kate was, for example, well understood and was perceived as competent and didn't cause discomfort or strong unease. Her behavior was rated slightly positive in terms of appropriateness. While we consciously chose kind utterances or tried to hide criticism in a humorous statement as displayed here, we included one rather rude statement when participants were not looking at the exhibits Kate was talking about. Even this statement was rated appropriately, and the participants agreed that Kate had a reason to blame them, considering their inattentiveness as impolite. The majority of participants enjoyed being guided by Kate, although the entertainment level was rated rather neutral. Looking at the free comments indicates that participants liked the structured experience, the compulsion to focus on one particular exhibit at a time, and that they were confident to not miss crucial content. However, they also mentioned the very limited interactivity and the monotone, however robust character of the tour. Some also mentioned that they missed being able to skip content. The companion condition was also rated positively. However, some scores were slightly lower. We assume this has two reasons. First, although subjects enjoyed the free exploration and that the ICA was able to determine their interest correctly, walking with Kate in our adapted shoulder-by-shoulder formation felt rather unnatural. Some participants stated that it felt like pushing Kate around. Others were confused when Kate suddenly swapped sides. And second, although the overall appropriateness of Kate's behavior was rated higher by 0.5 compared to the guide, the rather rude statement when participants were inattentive at an exhibit they previously felt attracted to had a negative impact. Compared to the guide, our participants were more sensitive to events limiting their freedom of actions granted by the free exploration. Although they still felt Kate's comment was justified, this statement was considered as not appropriate. Participants experienced the tour as more entertaining, and the free comments revealed that they enjoyed being in control by exploring the museum in their own pace, taking their time at interesting exhibits and skipping uninteresting ones. The interactivity and the non-linear structure were highlighted several times, while one subject mentioned to be unsure whether he or she missed something in the museum. So, what do those results reveal? Well, we unfortunately cannot support our hypothesis, as none of the roles was clearly preferred. Even when asked which condition they would recommend a friend to use, half voted for the guide, half for the companion. One implication is that neither a guide nor a knowledgeable companion meet all requirements users have during their scene exploration. Therefore, a compromise between both conditions might be best suited for a larger user acceptance, allowing an interactive and adaptable, however structured learning experience. Users should be able to influence the structure of their experience to a certain degree, while the ICA ensures that no critical information is missed. Furthermore, the level of detail for the explanations should be controllable, either directly by the user, expressing his or her wishes via natural language, or by the ICA, who analyzes the user's behavior for signs of boredom or interest. A short summary should then be available for uninterested users, while a detailed explanation should be given to curious ones. Designing and testing such a compromising role is thus our next step. Furthermore, we also strive to improve the shoulder-by-shoulder formation during walking. And last, our small sample size of 8 participants is a clear limitation of our current evaluation, so we for sure need a larger sample size for the next study. Before I come to the end, here's the next step for you guys. If you liked this work, please keep an eye out for Kate in the online gallery of our IVA video competition. She's waiting for you to take you on a tour through the museum full of fun and interesting memes. Now, thanks for your interest, and please feel free to contact me with any questions or comments. Bye bye!